Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another best of 3 between these two Korean giants. In the top right, spawning as the Blue Zerg player playing for Team Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's going to be none other than Dark. And in the bottom left, spawning as the Red Zerg, it's going to be none other than Dragon Phoenix Gaming Rogue. And this is a very special matchup. It really is, and the reason why this is such a special matchup is, well, first of all, the production tab is empty, just like my hat, but because both players tend to be very aggressive. They tend to want to attack and do kind of wild build orders. Often in the early game we see Rogue go ham already, but also just in the mid game they love taking big risks. They play very entertaining ZvZ. If you compare that to some of the European ZvZs that don't include in laser, a lot of these ZvZs are just a little more standard, a little more still. But ZvZ with Dark and Rogue, that's a party. It really is a party. Now, we often don't go into late games. I'm completely down with that. I don't want to see late games. I want to see two guys throw links and banelings at each other, and one guy take a huge risk to get into Mura, the other one getting frustrated, trying some weird Roach Nidus all in, that failing, then being a 2-base versus 3-base scenario, but one of the bases is proxied. You know, there's so many opportunities here for the game to get really weird. And I'm curious to see what's going to be. We already see a little bit of a difference here, okay? This is cool. You might be wondering, why is Dark's drone here faster than Rogue's drone if both of them are playing the same build? Well, that's funny. It's because Dark took a bit of a risk. So often what Zergs do is they wait with using the 20th larva until they know it's not a 12 pool anymore. Dark, however, said, nah, I don't give a crap if you're 12 pooler or not. I want that 5-second faster drone. So that's taking a relatively big risk, I would say, for a very minor gain. But he does get that minor gain. It's going to give him maybe 10 extra minerals into the mid game. But he does get those 10 extra minerals into the mid game that Rogue now doesn't have. At the same time, we have speed coming out of Rogue as well as out of Dark. I think this, well, yeah, it's very similarly timed. We still have 3 workers in gas here for Dark and only 2 for Rogue. What Rogue is doing is a lot more standard. You usually pull 1 out of gas the moment you start your speed. Now, I wonder if this is going to be for more banelings here for Dark, or if he wants to tech into a really fast layer behind it. Like, there's a couple of things that could happen, of course. And it's on Rogue to figure out, first of all, that is even happening, that this gas is still being mined with 3 workers. We see the gas count really is starting to kind of diverge here between these 2 players. And the third hatches are coming down as well. Is this kind of cute? Comes a creep tumor. Alright. Alright. We're going to have to see what Dark is going to end up doing, as we have another big wave of drones. And usually we see a couple of links being built with this larva wave. The fact that that's not happening is confusing to me, in a way. I'm not quite sure what Dark wants to do with all this gas that he's been mining right now. He's up 60 gas just because of that 1 extra worker. That's interesting to see. Evo chambers going down for both players. Of course, faster for Rogue, because Rogue has more minerals in this game now. Because he's been mining less gas. Roach Warren also coming down. And we're still not seeing anything out of Dark. Dark isn't building a Roach Warren either. He doesn't have to. 6 links are on the map. Here comes the Roach Warren, second gas in the main base. Usually if you see a second gas in the main base, that does indicate Muralisk. But another thing that would indicate Muralisk is getting the layer upgrade before your +1 upgrade. And that's not happening. So maybe Dark is just confused, or maybe he's just trying to confuse me. Both of these things would be very noble goals. Double banelings are being morphed here on the watchtower, trying to get perhaps a run by into that 3rd base location. Ooh, we have a lot of links on the way all of a sudden. This is kind of wild out of Dark. He still hasn't started the lair though. So I don't understand what the follow-up is going to be here. Is he just going to go into roaches from here, so he wants to deal a bit of damage? I guess that's the plan. We see a lot of these links moving across the map and the drones get evacuated. Now there is a wall, of course, here. What? He just literally ran these 2 banelings into the hatchery. I caught it in the corner of my eye. These two banelings that we saw at the watchtower just ran face first into that hatch. That was crazy. That really was quite crazy. We now have a lair on the way, faster for Rogue. This early game was awful for Dark, by the way. This is a terrible start. He needs to get something done with these links, and quite frankly, he can't get anything done with these links. He invested a lot in that attack. He's also building roaches at home right now, and he's just down 20 workers. He's legitimately down, well, okay, 10, 15 workers maybe. We have Overlord speed already on the way for Rogue. He's gonna pump out one of them Overseers as well, and he's gonna get a full scout of the opponent's base. But Rogue at this point has to be pretty convinced that there's going to be Mutas. 6 gas for Rogue as well. And it's Rogue actually that throws down the Spire first. I really like this, because I don't really see an opportunity for Dark here to walk across the map and kill his opponent. And that means that Rogue is going to be capable to keep all of his Overlords on the map. He will be able to deny his opponent's vision. And it might make it a little more difficult for Dark as well to get a fort base. Lair finishes for Dark, and we'll get to see what he decides to do. Second he was of course going down for both players, wanting to go into that 2-1 setup. The +2 attack, the +1 carapace. And here comes the Overseer for our good friend Dark. And he's gonna see the Spire. And the question is, what is the response going to be? I don't quite know. I do not know, I have to admit. Do you see a roach drop, I think, somewhere? Yeah. Oh, it's a Baneling drop. Oh, that's a lot cooler than roach. I was thinking of roach drops, but Baneling drops make a lot more sense, obviously. So he wants to throw his Overlord with a couple of Banelings onto a mineral line. There's already some spores in position, though. At the same time, we have a Baneling drop from the other side, but this is 4 Banelings. Nidus network going down. Did he cancel the Spire? No. So he built a Spire. That got scouted. Then rather than building any Mutas, he's now going for a Nidus network. But the Overlord spread out of Dark is just fantastic. Dark, of course, also has the Overlord speed, so doesn't even need to pull back his Overlords preemptively, because he can just do that the moment he sees Mutalisk. Here comes the 4 Baneling. Let's take a look at what Rogue is seeing. Oh, Rogue is busy with his own Baneling thing. I don't think he's quite... Okay, now he spotted it. Yeah. He's moving his queens over immediately. He knows what's in there. Oh! Baneling drop at the 3rd base as well. The one in the natural... Rogue? Do we need to pay attention there? Oh, the Rogue's not paying attention. He's gonna lose a couple of workers, but not too many. So I guess those Banelings didn't quite get the connections that they wanted. Rogue is trying to get a Nidus up somewhere, but I think he realizes that everything has been spotted so far. Fight before 2-1 on both sides, which means that, well, no one really is going to win this fight. Not with the upgrades, at least. We actually see a small upgrade lead as well here for Rogue. He's gonna get the +2 just 5 seconds faster. I don't think that's the time that he can hit. This +1 carapace is completely synced. Look at that. A completely synced +1 carapace upgrade. That's actually bananas. Actually bananas. Now Rogue all of a sudden had a lower worker count because he did kind of commit to that big attack. And he lost a couple of workers. 11 workers to be exact. Dark only lost 5. Now the Nidus is still here. It could do something. And if anything, it at least is forcing some units to stay close to the main base. Okay, here comes the Nidus. Completely in vision, of course. The question is Dark going to respond to this? Or will he say, no, I actually want to just fight your army. Fort base is going to get cancelled another time. This can be tricky. We have an infestation pit, as well as a Hydra then on the way for Dark. I think Dark just looks at that Nidus and knows that it's kind of fake. Just gonna be working with some defense around the chokes here. Wants to be throwing these biles kind of preemptively. He's gonna actually... Oh, barely managed to dodge a bile there. Good control so far out of Dark. Who... I'm not quite sure if he's getting the better trade here. I don't think he is. Rogue's actually just completely walking over him. That army of Dark that was dealing with the Nidus wasn't here, and I think Rogue just pushes in and wins. Oh my god. I can't believe this is so sick. It really felt like Dark thought he was safe. I thought Dark was safe as well, you know. Got the infestation pit, the Hydra then. He was thinking of the future, getting the tunneling claws, the burrow and everything. He wanted to go into a late game. And then Rogue said, you know what? I think I can kill you on 55 workers. I throw a Nidus here, I distract you a little bit, and bam! There we go. Rogue takes game number 1 here in this best of 3. Game 2 between these two gentlemen here. Dark in the top right. We have Rogue in the bottom left. Once again as the red Zerg player. Actually same positions as well then, huh? Same positions, same colors, same players. But there's a different thing in this game. First of all, it's Glittering Ashes, one of the larger maps. And second of all, Rogue already is up 1-0 in this best of 3. And that could mean that Dark is going to struggle here. That means that Dark could just end up losing. So we're going to be following this cleaning bot's journey. Sometimes I feel like these guys are just performing, you know? They're not actually cleaning. The amount of creep remains the same. It's not like the floor actually gets cleaner. I wouldn't mind if they make the floor brighter and then after they walk away for like half a minute, that the floor becomes like a bit darker again because it gets a little bit dirty. They remove a bit of the creep. You do see it like work, you know? The thing goes back and forward sometimes. See that? Then it moves to the... Oh, it does it twice and then moves to the next location. Puts the thing down. 1, 2. Oh no, this time only did it once. Sometimes he also walks somewhere and doesn't clean it, because he probably perceives it to be clean already. God, this cleaning bot's an idiot. It's number 86. It says on his hand. The cleaning bot in the base of Dark has been fired. I guess. It's not here at least. Maybe he didn't show up for... Oh, here we go. Also number 86. I guess that's just the brand name. Like the model number or whatever you call that. Alright. We have a similar setup as last game here with the early hatches. Quick spawning pool as well. Or well, quick spawning pool. Actually, there is a really slow spawning pool. It's the quick hatch, slow spawning pool, right? 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. The golden standard in ZvZ. 2 links being built here in the main base. Except for Rogue, they're being built in the natural. See some slightly different setups here for both players, or at least slightly different responses or ways to get to the same thing. Faster Overlord for Rogue, slower Overlord for Dark. I don't know what all of these things mean. Neither player pulling out of gas this time. In my limited knowledge of ZvZ, from what I gathered by talking to other people, pulling out of gas is absolutely standard. Pulling 1 worker out of gas after you start your speed. Whenever I watch Cheryl games, Rainer games, they all do this. So whenever a worker stays in, something funky is happening. Now, I think that Dark might just not give a crap about it and just likes his increased gas count. I feel like if Rogue keeps it in gas, because he didn't do it in game number 1, that he might have a plan. And now the question is, what is that plan going to be out of Rogue? And that's what we're going to try to figure out. So both players sending their links across the map, just attacking the hatchery of the opponent. As this queen will be capable of kind of fighting them off. His links are going to try to make... No, not going to go for a run into the natural. I think he just wanted to scout the Baneling nest, honestly. Perhaps that's the only goal that he had here. Just scouting the Bane nest. This is a funky looking wall, by the way. Actually, I don't think this is a wall. Roach Warren over here? No. It definitely would leave a hole, I think. Or you'd need to get creep in and build a Roach Warren here, an Evo chamber here. Yeah. This... Is that full? Oh, that looks full to me. But maybe it isn't. I don't know. It's hard to say, guys. I've only been playing this game for 10 years. 11, actually. 11 and a half years. Almost played this game a dozen years. Not quite, though. 6 more months. I'm not quite sure if this is a wall. It looks like a wall, but in my mind it wasn't possible to build a wall like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Both players actually... Uh-oh. +1 melee here. Coming out of Rogue. With the lair first as well. So this is such a clear Muta game, right? Still gets that Roach Warren because he wants to get... have the ability to build roaches against some kind of roach baneling attack, maybe, you know? Like, there's a couple of attacks where roaches are just nice. And also, you want to get the Roach Warren because you want this to look standard. And so I was kind of right. The moment that Rogue starts mining gas, or continues mining gas, he does something funky. The moment that Dark keeps mining gas, that doesn't necessarily indicate that it's something funky. We're gonna see a spire being thrown down soon? I can only imagine, right? 4 roaches here are being built. What? He rushes out a layer, gets a fast +1, and then forgets to build the spire. Okay, here comes the spire, but... Oh! The drone was a proxy spire. I love that. I really do love that. That is such a cool move. He's even faking... Oh! Was that a scout? Did he just clear a scout and did he start faking glial reconstitution? I saw the roach speed start here in the production tab for just a second, but he immediately cancelled it. So he wants to... He's completely selling this to Dark right now. Dark has no clue what's going on. Absolutely zero idea. The first time that Dark will know is if Dark will click on these links. And that can happen in... Oh, start! Yeah, roach speed starts again. You see that? Look. Overseer comes in, roach speed starts, Overseer flies away, roach speed gets cancelled. Oh, that's so beautiful. I super love that. That is so cool. That is actually just really cool. Overlord speed finishes up for, well, at least Rogue for now. And just, if we think back of that last game, what did Rogue show? Rogue showed the exact same things as he is showing this game. A small amount of roaches immediately, as little link bane as possible, and an Overseer with speed. How could Dark have known that something is wrong here? Well, he can't. He scouted every base, hasn't seen a spire, and here comes the... How does he know? No, this is for what you call them, the Baneling drops. This is not for Mutas. These are, well, the correct response, but for the wrong reason, you know? Correct response, wrong reason. That's what these spores are. Otherwise, he would also be building queens already. Because queens, spores, hydralisks, these are the answer. Oh, I love this so much for Rogue. Rogue is out right now with the Mutalisk and starts moving across the map. And now we're going to see the response. Okay, more spores being built immediately. Queens are starting producing. And Rogue just killing these... yeah, well, you can't kill that Overseer. It's too fast. Oh, no, you can actually. Don't listen to me, Rogue. You're a lot more knowledgeable. So the Baneling drop gets taken out, couple of spores being thrown down, Hydra then on the way immediately, and we see the queens popping off. This 4th base could be in trouble. I'm not sure if this is what Rogue wants to focus on though. I think Rogue initially wants to focus on killing units that aren't protected by the spore. So he goes for a queen, goes for a second queen, doesn't quite get it, cancels this spore for a second time. And now, oh, we'll still end up getting the queen, maybe a couple of drones. No, it's just going for these roaches. Drone transfer, links get into the main base, and with +1 they might be capable of killing a lot of these workers. There is somehow a bunch of workers still died on the side of Rogue though. I think that has to be one of them Baneling drops. If +2 gets cancelled, that could be huge. Without +2, of course, these queens and these hydras do a lot less damage. I love that Rogue here. He's just looking at where the opportunity is with his Mutas, and then he goes for it. He isn't really stuck with his mind in one position. He's not like, okay, I want to kill that +2 really badly. He's like, no, if I can kill drones, I will kill drones. If I can kill roaches, I'll kill the roaches. And if none of that happens, I'll just kill some buildings. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes for that 4th base. That 4th base is practically dead already. And he didn't want to kill that immediately because it has the lowest priority. He knows that this can't be defended right now. So it's like, I'll kill this later after I get all the juicy targets. +2 melee as well as Carapace on the way here. We have Tunneling Claws, +2 starting again. Is Carapace done? Yeah, Carapace is done here for Dark. Dark's just in such a crap spot though. Loses 2 more Overlords. Look at the resources lost here. 4.2k for Dark. Rogue decides to go for a Spore here. Not quite sure if that's the correct play. Goes for another Spore. If this Spore goes down as well it doesn't go down, so I guess we'll never know what the end of that sentence was going to be. 2 spores and a queen in the main. No creep either. I wouldn't even mind if there was an Overseer with this army and it would just start denying creep everywhere, making it difficult for these queens to kind of push around. Now, you might be wondering why in the world does Dark keep building his Evo chamber over here? And that's not even necessarily to start an upgrade. This Evo chamber is meant to block Baneling run-bys. So, well, now gets a Spore there. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Ooh. Rogue ends up catching these burrowed roaches. It's actually kind of annoying. that these get caught, because I really feel like this was the only thing that our good friend Dark still had going for himself. So all of these roaches are going to die as well. And where are the next roaches? Moving towards the left side of the map. Let's see if a rogue is going to be capable of spotting those. You can of course see them on the map. You see them move pretty clearly. But so far he doesn't really seem to care too much. Just getting a couple of spines per base. A couple of spines in total perhaps. So the Mutalisk count is high, and we see Dark teching up to Hive right now. 7 infestors are out. Roaches are at home, but these roaches aren't at home and might actually be capable of getting a little bit of damage. There's a single spine here, but it's not done yet. Dark is moving in, is also losing a bunch of workers at home. Good fungal. We will get the overseer. Nothing else dies though. And here come the roaches into the fourth. Roaches into the third as well. Now burrow and go on to their next journey. Going for the spine first, and now it's the turn for these drones to die. As the toxic attack of the roach takes down 12 so far. Once again, we have 3 roaches popping out into the natural, 3 roaches popping out into the main, and these will try to perhaps hide. Well, we have a baneling run by, which gets caught here by these infestors. The spore, more banelings moving forward, and with +2, of course, these banelings can one-shot the drones. And often that's not even the biggest thing, right? So if we take a look at this, we see, okay, well, he loses a couple of drones. That's annoying. It's bad. But on top of that, you're also losing HP constantly on your hatchery. And eventually that will go wrong. So you're already consistently losing drones. And then on top of that, you're also going to lose your hatchery eventually if you just don't have the queens to transfuse that. There is now 2 Vipers on the way. Seismic Spines has started. I like this positioning of that building. Where's the next baneling wave? Okay, here we go. This should be enough, by the way. This is completely sufficient to take out a hatchery. Or maybe to work on some of these spores. So even if they explode before they get to their goal, they're still valuable, they're still useful. This is a big F2, by the way, out of Rogue. Just moving back with absolutely everything. Throws down 10 more workers. I wouldn't mind if he just throws down 2 spines and a spore at every base at this point. So he never has to deal with this crap again. I mean, he's in such a big lead when it comes to the minerals and the resources. The only thing I'm a bit afraid of is that with the Vipers out, with the Lurkers, with Seismic Spines, there really is a chance here that if Dark gets into an army that is maxed or close to being maxed, just similar supply to his opponent, that Rogue can't really fight it anymore. I mean, Baneling, Ling, Murat doesn't trade well against Lurker, Infestor, Viper. That's such a specialized, sophisticated army. Rogue somehow sees this on the map. Oh, no. I think he just got lucky here. He's going to be capable of taking out all of these roaches. There is no banelings in this army. I'm surprised we haven't seen these banelings go in, but perhaps Rogue knows a little more about this than I do. And says, no, I don't actually think I can go in there. 25 more banes on the way. And Rogue ideally wants to be trading pretty consistently because he's outmining his opponent. But the longer this game goes, the worse his army is going to get. So losing these for Bane sucks, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, he's also damaging the spores. And if all the spores die, then the Mutas can come in. Not as easily anymore because there's Vipers now. There's a lot of Infestors. This is a tricky army to control, by the way, here for Dark. It's a lot of Spellcasters. Vipers, Infestors, Queens. You have a bunch of Hydras and Lurkers. Alright. Mutas now moving into the natural. There's only a single spore there. If this +2 gets cancelled again, that would be awful. Here come the Vipers. Infestors were not quite in position. And here come a couple of Lings. Will not be able to get in here. These Banelings, though. Getting the, well, pretty big connections on the workers, at least. Taking out the hatchery as well. Kind of what I mentioned before. And looking for a final hit. 27 workers have gone down in a very small amount of time. There's a single Ling that got into the main base. And, barely doesn't finish that drone. Gets distracted by the queen. Idiot. God. Nidus network on the way right now. We have the Ultralisk, Chitinous plating upgrade, Adrenal Glands. And Rogue is just going to keep on expanding over and over and over. At the same time, still has a pretty large bank as well. We have 25 Mutas, 121 Lings. 67 Banelings on the way here for Rogue. And really this looks bad for Dark. And it is bad for Dark, don't get me wrong. But it's not completely unthinkable that he can win the game. All we need is 1 or 2 bad fights for Rogue. If Rogue just gets completely fungled, or if he loses his mutas in some way or shape or form, which is possible. I mean, there's Infestor Viper. It could be over. Once again, we have that Ling attack first in the natural, and oh my god, not a single fungal was hitting. I think these Infestors might almost die. Oh my, these are huge. And this is exactly the type of fight he needed. Look at that. That was a terrible trade here. I think he killed an Infestor, 5 workers, and 3 spores. That's it. This completely empties the bank here. There's no money. There's absolutely no money for another big Baneling wave like this. Dark kept his supply up high. He could be building a couple of works right now. Sure, we have Ultras on the way, but Ultras against Lurkers don't even trade that well. People often think that that's the case, that they trade so darn well. Oh, this is a fungal completely. Nothing really died though. 1 spore went down. Another good trade. Dark is taking good trade after good trade. Yeah, well, it was up 2k. That last little trade there, whatever that was. Now sure, Rogue is mining way more, has way more workers, but the army supply is larger right now for Dark. And if that army supply grows to 200 supply, there always is the possibility. There always is the possibility that you win with once again a big attack. Not as many Banes as before though. First fungals aren't brilliant. And these Banelings are trying to get the connections. Just getting connections on spores. Slightly more even trade this time. I still think up 1k though for Dark in that last fight. Look at that. The army supply keeps growing. And this is what he needs. He needs this army supply to be very large. And then eventually these trades are not even possible anymore. Because Dark will just have too much. And the longer that Rogue waits with doing more of these trades, the worse they're going to get. But if he keeps doing them and he doesn't get the damage in, it's also not good. Because then he's just throwing away his bank consistently. I think Rogue actually is kind of panicking at this point. He's getting 4 extra Ultras, going up to 6 Ultras. We have freaking 21 Lurkers, 3 more on the way, 4 more Vipers on the way. Look at the sophistication of this army here. As the Spore gets taken out, this is a really good fight. This is brilliant for Rogue. This is so good. There's actually not that much anti-air that isn't in spellcasters. So a lot of these Infestors and these Vipers are forced this way right now. This base getting taken out is annoying, as at least the +3 is still going. And we're going up to 8 Vipers. 8 Vipers. 6 Infestors. 24 Lurkers. This is a dream army. Rogue's gonna throw down another Nidus. Lurkers are moving in position though to clear that. Well, the Roaches are this time. I don't think he can do this, can he? The problem is there might just not be enough Lurkers at one base to truly hold this properly. Here come the Ultras. We have the Mutas popping into the natural. Lurkers need to burrow, A lot of hit targets here by these Banelings. These Ultras actually are getting a pretty decent trade right now. What are these Infestors doing? Hello? Mr. Infestor? No. You can just start losing your army now. Yeah, these Ultras traded pretty well. And taking out 2 bases is kind of frustrating, because that's a lot of the mining here that Rogue had. 24 workers have gone down as well. And I guess the Lurker perhaps, or excuse me, the Ultralisk perhaps isn't that bad. Vipers on the side of Rogue, of course, also a possibility. Either for blinding clouds on the Lurkers, or just for throwing parasitic bombs on your opponent units. A lot of Mutas are going down. Nidus Worm gets up. That's not enough. Dark is just trying to stay alive. It's like playing tower defense, but rather than having towers, it's like having units. So it's more like playing unit defense. You're defending with units against units. Yeah, I don't think he can push into this, right? Apparently he can. Or he thinks he can. That's not a good trade for a Rogue. I don't think it matters though. His mining is just too large at this point. And it really is all about that single time build-up that Dark has, and then taking a huge fight, preferably on the other side of the map. But he didn't get the huge fight. He took an awful fight because he was still busy defending. He was busy holding every angle. And he needed to be the one attacking. He needed his entire army in one spot. If he can fight in one spot against the entire army of Rogue, I think he would have blasted it. With the 24 Lurkers that he had, I don't think 6-7 Ultralisks is enough. Don't forget that with the Vipers and with the Infestors, you can also really easily deny detection, right? Parasitic bombs on Overseers, add a fungal or 2 in there, and just like that, these Lurkers just gain so much in strength. Single ultra pops out of the night is like, yeah. I'm really not into Dark's position whatsoever at this point. It's really crazy to me how fast these guys are though. Just not even necessarily the APM speed, even though I did just show that, but just, you know, that little bit of rogue micro here, even though we're 20 minutes into a game, like still trying to preserve these 3 rogues. I think this might just be the final battle though, as the rogue just pops in. All of the blinding clouds are going down. The Mutalisks get taken out, but the entire eco here of Dark also gets taken out. There's still some Overseers with this. They could definitely come in handy. GG gets called as Rogue, wins game number 2 as well. Wins best of 3, 2-0. Dark had to tap out. Sick game though. Really interesting defense, and he almost made it work if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Alright, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.